Japan.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It's my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. It is Free for All Friday. Let's cut to the chase and get straight to the show. It's Free for All Friday, and this you must know. Your voice will be heard across the heart of this land. Your opinion is important, and I think you're just grand. It's Free for All Friday. Your calls are all welcome. We'll talk about almost anything we deny very seldom. So get your coffee ready. It's the brew that is true. Let's get on with this show. This day is for you. It is Free for All Friday, 877-895-5410. That's 877-895-5410. All right, I'm having kind of a nostalgia morning for some reason with the old rock and roll songs. But as I'm going through the news, and I'm telling you, it is crazy. The song from Tommy Rowe, Dizzy, came up in my head. I'm dizzy. I'm just dizzy trying to make sense of all this stuff. And, of course, his song says, I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool. It never ends. I changed the words here a little bit. It is Congress making it spin. You're making me dizzy. And then, as I continued to look for news, all these feeds are coming up on my computer, these news articles that are just come out. Breaking news, which one of which is the Senate will vote at noon, which will probably be about the time we go off the air on the eastern side there because we're in central. And they're going to vote at noon whether or not to pass this spending bill or shut the government down. And I thought of another old song. The games people play. Oh, the games people play now. Every night and every day now. Never meaning what they say. Now, never saying what they mean. And while they while away the hours in their ivory towers, till they're covered up with flowers in the back of a black limousine. These are old rock and roll songs. And, of course, that was back in the Vietnam War era, when most people were against that war. And they always wanted, they wanted to make love, not war, and they wanted to have flowers in their hair and all that good stuff. Here's another verse to that. Look around, tell me what you see. What's happening to you and me? God grant me the serenity to remember who I am. Think about this nation. What's happening to you and to me? And do we remember who we are as a nation? Because you've given up your sanity for your pride and your vanity. Turns your back on humanity. Yeah, those were the days, those songs. But when you think about what's going on, I can kind of see where the author of those words and verses was coming from in some of it. Well, sometimes some of the words and some of the phrases seem to be parallel with what we see today. As I was preparing for today's show, there were so many things running through my head. And this week, we've talked about tariffs. We've talked about fair trade. We've talked about free trade, and how free trade was quite costly and is quite costly to the American people with their jobs and, yes, even our sovereignty, which seems to be a dirty word in politics these days or in the mainstream media. The border wall, or border steel slats now, they're being called. The pettiness of Congress and the politicians, and Syria. How many wars do we need to be involved in, and for how long? Christmas is just around the corner. Maybe America needs to have a truce. Maybe the hate in D.C. and the mainstream media need to cease. Maybe they should read their job description and get to work. The idea of them shutting down the government and then whining about it, ruining their Christmas. How arrogant. When it was them who caused all the problems in the first place. Is it always the end of the year when they sneak things through? Make threats on us? Do you trust anyone in D.C. these days? It's Free for All Friday. Let's look at what news I've managed to find and read. And by the way, Daniel will be here in just a little bit. He'll be joining us in the second segment of the show. What's on your mind? Chime in. or give a Christmas greeting if you wish to someone. 877-895-5410. That's 877-895-5410. Well, as they were talking last night about, oh, it's Christmas. They're going to ruin Christmas if they shut down the government, and everybody's going to be sad and crying and all this stuff. And I thought, let me talk about Christmas just a little bit. And we do have a caller, so hang on, Joe. Hang on. I'll get to you here real quick. Christmas. It was December 23rd, 1913, when the rest of America was busy, when Congress decided to get together. Now, this is actually coming from a government website, so the slant on it is a positive thing. It took many months and nearly straight party line voting, but on December 23rd, 1913, the Senate passed and President Woodrow Wilson signed in the Federal Reserve Act. Said it was needed for a central bank because it was painfully evident during the financial panic of 1907. Christmas. That was quite a Christmas for the American people. Then it was that same year, farther into early spring, when they decided to pass an income tax on us. We have Joe from Arkansas. Joe, what's on your mind today?
Well, I actually called about something else, but I just want to make this comment about shutting down the government. I think the reason they don't like to shut down the government is they don't want us finding out that we can get along just fine without it.
I think you're absolutely right.
Okay. Now, what I called about was I get a magazine called Art of the West, and there's an article in the latest issue about a Chinese artist that came to live in America. His name is Mian Situ. He's extremely good. And there's a quote that he has here about life in China and in Russia under communism and socialism that I thought you would find interesting, and your listeners also.
Right.
And it goes like this. On top of all that, Situ needed to make a living. Galleries in California weren't interested in his paintings of Chinese landscapes and villagers, viewing as dreary and depressing. They were kind of depressed, he says, of his subjects, adding that his paintings accurately portrayed the pall that the Chinese and Russian political systems threw over the country's citizens. To try to convey the situation, we used more neutral, darker colors, subdued colors, Situ says. That's how we felt in that environment, and an artist needs to convey what you feel. And, of course, the strange thing is that 99.9% of the art world in the United States would like to bring that same Russian, Chinese, socialist, communist system to America.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't it?
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, well, that's what I have. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Hey, have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, too.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Well, they talk about shutting down the government. And Trump has warned them, this came out this morning, that he's warned them it could be a very long shutdown if they push this. They may be pushing the wrong guy here. President Trump, and I was listening to this last night and yesterday afternoon, and everything they are coming out with because of the Syria pullback, because of the shutdown, because of the wall. And now it's not a wall. He's just saying it's steel slats. Oh, come on, people. Everything they've complained about and have warned us against Trump hasn't happened. He seems to have this sense of things, a gut reaction, a gut feeling. I don't know. What do you think? Well, we're going to be welcoming Daniel here in the second segment, I do believe. Your calls are welcome at 877-895-5410. It is free for all variety, and it's Christmas Eve. And we will be right back.